Greetings YouTube Germany. Today I want to tell you a story about something that's been bothering me, and maybe I can get some help from some of you out there. I started training Krav Maga a few years ago in Erfurt, the capital city of Thuringia, in combat sports club under owner Christian Sweeblein. I wanted to train there because it was the only place in my area looking for Krav Maga instructors, and since I have martial arts experience, I thought I wanted to try it out. But there was a red flag about Christy right away during our first meeting. He was mostly complaining about how his other instructors are bad and only cheat him, and his students are all heart's fear, and he was tired of these people not paying him more money, blah blah blah. It was annoying, but I really wanted to train Krav Maga, so I ignored the complaining about his failing business. Another red flag was when he said he's going to do everything it takes, even if it's illegal, to make sure no one else can cheat him. He was sounding real desperate the whole time when he was talking about this and telling me things. And through his club, I was introduced to his boyfriend, who's also named Christy. Yeah, go figure. This clown struck me as already a real slimeball. He always made comments to me about how they should build the Berlin Wall back up, and all this other crazy talk about foreigners. Made me think they really don't like any foreign people in Erfurt. But keep in mind, he was only, I think, under the age of 10 when the wall came down, so he probably really doesn't know shit about the wall. But I ignored the bullshit again because I just wanted to train. The Christies, they started Facebook stalking me, trying to find out all the information about me, but I told them they don't have to do this. I'm pretty upfront about pretty much everything, so all they have to do is ask me. But I told them the bottom line is, I love to train, and the people have fun training with me. That's all that really should matter. Plus, I already gave them a police report from the German police, and that should have been enough, but it wasn't. Well, one day before training, we were in the office talking about the training plan. When the owner, Christy, tells me the story about how he put a GPS on a guy's car and spied on him to get him in trouble with the police, and later the guy was sent to jail, and the whole time he's laughing about how funny it was. Christy also told me he found a way he can call the phone company, get people's IP address, hack their computers, use their webcam, and so on. And I told him in my country, somebody would kill you or you'd be in jail. And he laughed and said how his friends are in the police and he has family in the Erfurt Police Department, and how he had used GPS on people's cars so he could later break into their houses and nobody could really stop him or do anything about it every time. Yes, I know, I should have left right there. But then I thought maybe it'd be okay. At the time I didn't have children, and he was weaker than me, so I thought if something happens or he breaks into my house, I'll just kick his ass. Yeah, that was my thinking at the time. While he's telling me this shit, I'm looking around his junky office, and I noticed a GPS and some tools sitting in a chair in the corner. And I thought to myself, gee, it's not hard to figure out who's next on his spying list. Later, when I was training, he came out and wanted to talk to the person I was training with. I think his name's Tino, some shit like this. The whole time, these people don't really know I can understand German. And Christy is telling Timo he can't do it alone. He doesn't trust anyone else to help him. And Timo says, yeah, what if he finds out? I have a wife, I have a child, I can't get in any trouble. And the whole time Christy's telling him, no, don't worry, he'll never find out. The whole conversation is going on like literally 2 meters away from me. And Christy's already standing with the tools in his hand, the GPS, and right in front of the whole training group. So Christy and Timo go outside to the car parking lot, and I position myself so I can see through the window and notice they're walking right towards my car. So I know right there something's wrong. He has the tools, he has the GPS in his hand, and he's walking towards my car. The half of my car was out of view, so I couldn't see him once they actually bent down below the window level, but they were definitely on my car. And Timo, the guy that was helping him, comes back into training with grease on his hands and on his arms, from the underside of the car. And now, being American, my first thought was, I'm gonna beat both their asses right here and right now. But I promised myself and my wife to stop fighting and just let things go. Plus, I knew if I beat them, another instructor, if they find out, I'll never be able to train Krav Maga. So I took a few days to think this whole thing over. When I was thinking, I thought, how can I turn this whole thing around? I thought, let me push this whole thing a little bit and give them something to spy about. Something you learn in the military is if you're being followed or spied on, the best thing to do is to start doing things out of character. That means drive different places, do different things and whatnot. This reminded me of a report I saw here on German TV about people spying on each other and how the police said it's really hard to prove and that most people will never tell the truth when someone does this or when they find out about it because most people are weak and want to belong to their group. So I thought to myself, how can I make it that they want to tell everyone, and even people outside their group? And how can I make something such a big secret that they can't wait to tell everyone what they've done? Because I thought the more people who know, the bigger chances that someone with a conscience will hear of this and tell the police, and he'll be stopped, so that people will be safe in the future from this fucking idiot. One day I was going training in a different place. I came back and realized there's a smell in my house, and it can only be Christy's boyfriend, Christy. This sounds funny. I know this because of the smell, and I'm not really trying to be funny. I know everyone has a smell, a body smell, but this dickhead makes me want to puke. And I've been he was riding in my car for 4 hours, and I had this constant smell in my nose for weeks, and I was sick for 2 days after this guy was in my car, and so it's burned into my memory. Plus, I keep my house super clean, and there were some things moved around that I know I didn't move, and some small things were missing from my house. So I know they were in my house too now. And like I said, I wanted to create something that would be too good to keep for themselves. People who know me know I'm definitely crazy and capable enough to do something like this. So I thought, what can I do? I'll make them think I love pornos and sex addicted because there had to be something on the internet because I wanted to see if they were hacking into my computer, and this was the only way I could find out it had to be something over the internet. But I thought that's not even good enough because lots of people love pornos. Men especially, so it has to be something even more over the top. So I thought it could be gay pornos, and maybe if I make them think I'm gay, they can't wait to tell everyone about it. Because I heard them already sort of talking sometimes, they make comments to each other about how they don't like gays and blah 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 blah. So I thought that would be perfect. Well, I was right. It only took 1 day, and every time I was private training with the two clowns, they only made gay remarks and talked bullshit and laughed with each other, even more than they've ever done. But I thought, okay, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it can only be luck. What else could I do to make them, give more comments and say more things? Well, this one was easy. All I had to do was talk bullshit about them and how shitty their people are. They couldn't hold any information like this for themselves, for sure. So I pressed it and started to play crazier and crazier. I played so well that I started to be a little bit crazy, especially a little bit crazier than normal. So I wouldn't recommend it to most people. During the course of this, I tried to get them to meet me somewhere because I was kind of pissed. And I just wanted to fight. And we could fight about it, they could apologize, and we would be done. But every time we would meet, they wanted everything to be on camera or people to be around. So they could try to get me in trouble probably with the police if I did anything violent to them. So I think it was mostly out of fear. They kept spying on me because they were afraid I might come and get them both in the nighttime or something. I finally decided that being around these type of people is like poison. And I'm not that good at controlling my anger every day. It was hard for me not to beat these people involved every time I saw them. So I had to leave. After I left, I started a job in UPS, a short time, I started hearing some of the same comments again that Christy was making. And I didn't talk to any of these people. No one could know me. No one knew my history. Well, it became like a bully situation at work, and I've never been bullied before, so I didn't really know how to take it. So I told the bully one day, after work, I'm just going to kick your ass. And he already knew why. He ran and started asking the other guys if they told me what's going on. And again, the people don't know I can understand German. And they were only a few meters away talking right in front of me. Well, after work, it was time for the bully to pay up. I went to beat him, and he ran around the parking lot screaming like a little girl. So I couldn't even chase him. He ran so fast. The next day, the bosses came and asked me what happened, and I explained. One of the bosses said he already knew why, and he assured me that I wouldn't lose my job, and that the bully is trash and his family too. And I didn't understand the comment, his family too. So after searching about this guy, I found out that Christy Sweetline is his cousin or his family or some bullshit in his life. So all the shit started making sense to me. So I had to leave this job, even though it was kind of perfect for me. There was a lot more to the story, but for now, that's good enough. Normally, I wouldn't even address the public, but I have a child now, and I'm worried that this maybe could affect him in some way unless I handle this. Because moving my home all the time to get away from this Christy Sweetline isn't really what I had in mind. Plus, the stories are getting more crazy. Christy, you tell people now that you broke into my house in the nighttime when I was sleeping. If you did that, you wouldn't have to put a GPS on my car. And if you're brave enough to break into my house when I'm there, you would be brave enough to fight me when I challenged you. I made this video for all the people who really think Christy tricked me, and for Christy himself, as a matter of fact. How is it possible to trick someone when they knew the whole time? I knew all the people involved, I just didn't say anything. And it bothers me, Christy, that you're a real representative of Krav Maga, by the way. Christy, it's also okay when you want to make your bullshit in your little shitty club. But when you trick people into coming to your gym with hopes of training Krav Maga and getting only your bullshit or their house robbed, it's not a good look for you. Besides, who's more crazy, me or the people watching me? And for all the ideas you had to make your shitty club better, you're welcome. Oh, and urban fitness, come on, give me a break. You're welcome too. Christy Sweetline in Erfurt, you can tell the truth now. I have a question that I'd like to ask all the other Germans out there, the real normal German citizens, especially the people from Thüringen. Is this normal for your people to be like this? Because since I've been here, I only meet people like this. I have a lot of stories to share that are just as crazy and 100% true. And my next question is, how would a German handle this situation like this with a person like Christy Sweetline in Erfurt? Please share the clip, leave comments, that I can learn more from my experience, because I really don't even know what to do. Thanks, German YouTube.